Hi, this is Dana, and I will talk in this video about how they tamper with your dialogue with the divine. And this is a very important topic in general. I mentioned it a little bit earlier in other videos, especially in the one about mystic prayer meditation, where I explained that God postponed that meditation because it's very tricky as they interfere with your dialogue with the divine, regardless what type of dialogue you have with the divine. Different people have different ways of reaching out to the divine. Some people do tarot readings. Some people do pendulum reading. Other people connect directly to the divine, to astral plane. There are many different ways to reach to the divine. Usually, as you evolve, you learn all of them because each has different type of meaning, and it brings different spirit guides from divine to help you to achieve certain things. For example, tarot reading. Tarot has a spirit of its own, a protector, a guardian, which is not only helping you to find out information, but it's also protecting you. So it has a very strong power in protection. For example, throughout my spiritual journey, I carried with me a deck of tarot cards, although I never used it actually, but I only carried it with me for protection because the guardian of tarot is very powerful in protection. Anyhow, the point is, as you evolve, you learn many of these ways to connect to the divine. The most important thing in this video that I will be talking about is how and why this happens, tampering with your dialogue with the divine. So you will be aware that this is very important for you in many ways, and I will explain a little bit later. Just diving into the topic, they will try to substitute themselves to your divine guide. And of course, this is very simple because they want to misguide you, they want to confuse you, they want to divert you, to take you to a wrong path, to a trap. They want to block you, not to find out information about others, about your path, and not to get help from the divine, basically. So they try. At the same time, what you have to understand, each and every type of authentic dialogue with the divine has a power of healing on your energy. That divine counterpart that you are talking with will do healing. You enter in contact, your energy enters in contact with um, the divine realm, so automatically you receive healing of your energy. So they also want to prevent you from receiving this healing. Um, they also want to use you to reach that level of healing, because that's a very pure energy. And if they succeed to interfere and be present in your communication with the divine, they reach a very high level which they are not able to reach by themselves. High level of energy, which they steal, and then of course they use in order to do harm on others and on you as well. So this is very important for you to understand. It can happen during the dialogue with the divine, but it can also happen during the prayer that you do, because praying is also one type of dialogue with the divine. It's more of a monologue, right? But it's still a dialogue with the divine, right? So that's very important to know, to protect and to understand. As I said in the mystic prayer video, to understand that it's not safe for you to do at all times um, uh, encounter and dialogue with the divine, or at least, to be more precise, if you are under attack, you have to do it in a specific way where you don't engage the soul chakra, because this is the one that opens your energy field the most. So you have to learn to do enough silent prayer meditation in order to be able to be in complete stillness and still have dialogue with the divine, but not in the same way as you do the mystic prayer, which is much more of a soul type of connection with the divine. So it involves emotions, not emotions, but it involves a certain level of love, soul connection, right? How they do this? They do it in many different ways. They do it, for example, through levitation and holograms. So they will try to interfere in your dialogue to still hijack essentially the dialogue with the divine by doing levitation on you and giving you wrong answers, right? They will do password encoded um, um, blockages, which means they create a bubble of energy which they infuse with a certain outcome. For example, they steal your identity. And if they do this, they create a bubble of energy, password encoded, whereas they say if this and this person ask questions about this topic, the answer should be no, even if the true answer is yes. Okay, so you have password encoded. This is why I said, I think, I'm not sure in videos, but I most certainly wrote it on Facebook. Always have test questions when you have dialogue with the divine. For example, you ask things that you know for sure the answer. Is my name Dana? Am I awake now? Or am I in my house or am I on the street? Things like this, which you alternate with the true questions that you want to ask. And you can see then if you get a wrong answer to the question that you already know the answer to, then you know that your dialogue has been hijacked. And then you don't trust the answer to the question which is really your interest at that point in time, right? So I wrote this on Facebook. For example, as I said in other videos, I have done mystic prayer all my life. And I have had dialogue with the divine all my life based on mystic prayer. One way there are many ways in which I received dialogue from the divine, but one way was, and I'll give you one example, one way was dialogue through icons. So I would pray to an icon in a mystic prayer, and after a while I will get in a dialogue with um, that saint from the divine realm. And I have done this for a long time, and they will always give me very concrete answers to very concrete questions, or most of the times actually, before I started asking questions, they will themselves give me guidance on certain topics. Don't do this today, or do this tomorrow, or they will give me prophetic messages. This will happen. God showed me later on that this was mostly to train me, because of course initially I didn't trust. I thought, this is crazy, why am I hearing this? So for a long time God did this only to train me, and they would give me prophetic messages about things that were happening around me, just to make me trust my gift. Because of course I confessed to my priest, I said, I'm hearing this, why is this happening? And he discouraged me. He said, don't listen to anything you hear. No, this is not a good path to go. So God told me, because they were trying to divert you from your gift, we gave you for a long time prophetic messages about things that didn't really have connection to you, but we wanted to prove to you that this is true. So they will give me dreams, prophetic dreams, or messages during prayer, which didn't necessarily concern me, but there were events which the same day would happen. So I will start to trust my gift. So I will start to open up and work with my gift. And so I would have dialogue through icons for the longest time of my life. And then all of a sudden, um, I noticed that after a long time of doing this, so I already trusted my gift already, and I had much work done with through icons. All of a sudden, I noticed icons refused to talk to me, to answer to my questions, which was very peculiar at this point in time, because I already used and prove to myself that this is a true gift that I have and that it's happening. And I helped others through this gift, finding out information and so on. Later on, I found out what was happening is that these individuals were tampering with my dialogue with the divine. So the saints that I was praying to were refusing to establish the connection, simply because, for example, one bastard, this is the only way I can call this individual, binded himself at me. He binded himself at me in order to be able to interfere in my dialogue with the divine, because he couldn't reach the divine realm, considering all the harm he was doing all around and to me. So he binded himself to me. So I noticed only that icons would refuse to talk to me. I didn't understand what was happening, so I thought maybe uh, I'm not doing my proper preparation, and I don't go within myself enough. I don't do the prayer properly. So I was blaming myself all the time because I couldn't understand why I cannot get the same result. And soon after that, I could see the icons when I was trying to connect to them and to ask questions. Um, I could see the icons making faces at me, uh, like really making faces at me. I don't know how to explain this in English better, but like putting their tongue out, funny faces, which freaked me out completely. I was like, this is crazy. This cannot happen. Um, and soon I actually learned it was because of this, because this individual binded himself at me, and he was trying to interfere in my dialogue with the divine. My saints were trying to warn me that, because he was doing levitation and he was giving some answers, but to me, the energy of the answer, because I do energy reading, right? The energy of the answer didn't match with the energy of the saint, which I already knew, because as I said, I did this all my life. So I was like, this doesn't come from the saint that I'm praying to. This doesn't come from Jesus. This is not Jesus energy. But it was a message that I was receiving while praying at Jesus. So I was like, this is something really wrong. Something is really different and it's really wrong. And then they started to make these faces. They were essentially warning me that this is not them talking at me. You know, um, it took me a long time to understand why this was happening. Only after I started my spiritual fighting, God explained to me, as I went through different types of attacks, explained to me why this was happening. But at the time, it completely freaked me out, because I lived all my life with a dialogue with the divine, and all of a sudden I couldn't contact them, or if I would contact them, I would hear funny voices, which to me was clear that is not the energy uh, from the saint that I was praying to, and it was also clear that that was not the right answer. So the message is that you must be cautious. And if this happens, of course, my advice to you is, and this is why I'm making this video, don't freak out like I did. I completely freaked out when this happened, because I couldn't understand what went wrong, and why I'm not able to have the same type of connection with the divine. And of course, because I was not aware about spiritual fighting as I am now, I blamed it all on myself, and I said, okay, then it means I didn't fast enough. It means I didn't pray enough. It means I something I didn't do well if I'm not able to have the same connection, right? Um, there is in Romania a site, a spiritual site, and it's an individual, a priest who is called Arsenie Boca, and is considered a saint in Romania. I wrote articles about him, and I explained he is an embodiment of Demolay, the Grand Master of Templars, and I benefited of guidance from him throughout my entire life, right? So I had a very strong connection with him. He guided me through all the transition period when I was under spiritual attacks, but I didn't know about spiritual fighting. And he helped me transition by slowly introducing to me different topics and showing to me things that were done, not to scare me off, being very much aware of the limitations I had due to church interference in learning about this. Now, this is very important for all of you, so you will make sure that when you establish any type of dialogue or connection with the divine, there are many of them who feed, especially Illuminati secret societies, they feed on energy from prayer. God showed me this. God actually forbid me to pray during specific attacks, and he showed me they feed on that energy. So uh, because these are groups which only desire pure energy. These groups don't do vampirizing, they do necromancy, they feed on prayer energy, they only use children. I mean, if you look at church and all the scandals about pedophily, you will understand this is because they need pure energy. These are groups which worship specific types of powers, like Luciferian powers, who only use pure energy. So for this reason, they do this. And also for this reason, is very important that you are very cautious when you have dialogue with the divine and when you pray to the divine. You must make sure you're in safe circumstances, and no matter what happens, I gave you a few examples. Don't freak out. Understand that they are trying to interfere with your dialogue with the divine. Check thoroughly all answers that you get. Research as much as you can. Don't take for granted answers, because as soon as they learn that you can reach and have dialogue with the divine, they will tamper with that. They will tamper with tarot answers. They will appear to you because of the energy they steal during your prayer from you. They will appear in tarot readings as emperors when actually they're not even knights. And this is energy stolen from you. Um, they use the energy they stole this way, this pure energy, because they can do in astral things which they are not able to do, like even astral projecting, um, astral traveling, um, or even when they appear to anyone else, they appear in a higher light. So they get charisma, they get persuasion, they get everything that comes with your energy. They will lose that energy because they do harm anyway. This is why they keep feeding on it, on us continuously, and they become vampires, because they're not able to uphold or to create this type of energy. But as long as they have it, they will be able to trick people, they will be able to hypnotize people, they will be able to say lies and pass as credible. And this is really important. This is why it's really important. You must fight to stop them from feeding on you, because they do much harm with your energy. They can go undetected while they do attacks on others. They will definitely go undetected when they do attacks on you, because it's your energy, so you're going to think it's your thought, not them interfering with your thought. um, and they use your energy to reach a higher level, and to from that level to do things which are not normally allowed to them. Okay, they will steal this way many of your rights, because they will say they are entitled to it. But of course they are not at that level, and they just you do this in order to create harm, and they do this to transfer karma to you, essentially. So you must make sure that first of all, of course, you fight. You must make sure to claim justice, judgment, and punishment, because this way God gets to reveal to you. Many times information is password encoded. I gave example of them stealing my work, my prophetic work on Facebook. God told me all the time that they steal my work, but it was not revealed to me how they do it and who exactly is doing it. He kept saying, they're stealing your work. As I explained, I asked God, well, do you want me to stop writing then if they steal my work? Um, but of course, since God showed me that many people need my work and this is my gift, and that nobody else has access to the information God is giving me, I said, I will ask judgment on them and punishment on them. I claim back all my rights. You will make justice for me. And meanwhile, I will write the prophetic writings. And because we cannot all be stuck and fearful of working with our gifts because they steal our work. We must get through it. So I will keep writing. This will help people. And you will make justice for me and you will give me back whatever they stole. So this was my thinking at the time. God approved, and we pursued, and I wrote almost 400 articles by now. Um, but as I told in the other video, God at the same time kept saying, do YouTube messages, which I didn't do for 4 years up until now, simply because I didn't have the proper circumstances, conditions, and technology to do quality videos. And I said, I'm surrounded by them all around. I'm under attack 24 hours a day. Continuously, I fight to defend myself. And then this is not the proper condition to actually do a video. So give me the conditions and I will start doing the videos myself. This was an ego-based answer. God allowed me to make this mistake. And only when I started to do YouTube videos now, after 4 years of prophetic writing, right? Um, God was able to show to me uh, because they didn't succeed to do password encoded on YouTube because they couldn't steal as easily this one since it was a voice message. So it was my energy imprint on it. So they couldn't steal as easily the work here. He succeeded to show to me the exact people who were involved in stealing my work, prophetic work done in writing, which was under password encoded. So God couldn't show me. God, many times when something is password encoded, blocked from you, then God sometimes will give you examples of similar situations. So He will give you a hint what is going on, right? So He will give you, this happens very often to me. God will give me an example of something that I did in the past, something that was done to me in the past, something that we achieved in the past, and He will then show me this is connected to your question. So then I can draw my own conclusion. And then if I put the question in a different way, I say, if I do this and this and this, then this way He can actually show me that this is the answer. It's a bit more complicated, specifically since I'm not a native English speaker, a bit more complicated to explain very thoroughly this. Um, but I hope you understand the point I'm making, namely to protect your dialogue with the divine, to be very cautious at all time and double check, make sure that you don't have interference, so you don't get astray too long. If they do interfere, do not panic. Do not panic. You just need to get out of that. You just need to claim justice, judgment, and punishment on them, and get out of that connection which they interfered in. Um, I hope this is helpful. God was very keen on me sending this message right now, and I imagine this is in connection with previous videos that I made, specifically Mystic Prayer and so on. And I truly hope, I really wanted you to have the Mystic Prayer video because it's so dear to me and it's been my way of living all my life. And because I miss those times when I was doing safely Mystic Prayer without these jerks attacking and interfering in my life. But at the same time, I don't want to expose you to attacks to which you are for which you are not prepared to face. This is why I hope everyone gets to see this message and they understand what I'm trying to put out there, and they will do the proper protection. And if they will succeed to interfere, you will do the proper um, measures. You will take the proper measures so you can snap out of it fast and not to get astray from your path too long. Again, claim justice, judgment, and punishment, so God can show you. Do it as often as you can. Today is the karmic board meeting. Ask always help from Akashic record for um, learning the divine truth, not the lies they put out there and they try to bombard us with. Um, and just claim justice, so God can show you when they are trying to divert you, when they interfere, who is doing it, and so on. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, so you can help me to pass the word of God, my work in spiritual fighting, to reach as many people as need this. Thank you.